Okay, so this isn't going to be like one of my normal YouTube videos, but I just had a thought come on and I wanted to film this before I lose my train of thought. So I did a reel a couple days ago with the caption, "Don't say this to a person who's hearing impaired," or something along those wordings. And I had a few people message me saying, hearing impaired is not the right words to say. It's offensive or it's insensitive. And I was thinking to myself, and this is going to be controversial, and I hope I don't lose followers over this, but I think it needs to be said. I started my channel because I wanted to hopefully end the stigmatization around hearing loss, or, spread awareness about hearing loss. And I think that the words that we use about ourselves impact that movement greatly. And so I personally call myself hearing impaired because I think that it's the easiest way to say that I'm hearing impaired or have hearing loss. I don't find that hard of hearing comes off my tongue very easily. And, if you look at the definitions, hearing impaired and hard of hearing are very interchangeable. And what got me thinking about this is, why is hearing impaired seen as offensive or insensitive? And I truly believe it's because hearing loss is still very much stigmatized and very much looked down upon. So I think that as a part of the hearing loss community, we need to not be offended by words that are true. So I don't think it makes sense to be offended by the words hearing impaired when I am in fact hearing impaired. People who are visually impaired aren't offended by the words visually impaired, so why are we offended by the words hearing impaired? And I truly believe it's also how society has used those words and, maybe portrayed hearing loss in movies and TV and stuff like that. But I really don't see how we can be offended by the truth. And I think this is where I might lose people, but words are words. And of course, if people use them in a vindictive way or whatever, they are very powerful as well. But how can I be offended by something that's true? I am hearing impaired. I'm losing my hearing. I have hearing loss. So I personally do not see the point in being offended when someone says you're hearing impaired, or why people get offended or see this as being insensitive when I use the words hearing impaired, because that is what we are. We are hearing impaired. And again, if you prefer to call yourself hard of hearing, that's totally cool too. Hard of hearing is another way to say hearing impaired. But I just think that being a part of the hearing loss community, in order to end the stigmatization, we have to be able to use those words interchangeable, and we have to be able to say those words, because if we're offended by those words, then I really don't think we're improving the situation and improving the community for people who have hearing loss or who are hearing impaired. Again, if you want to call yourself hard of hearing or hearing impaired, that's totally your choice, but I don't think that you should be able to tell someone, well, don't use those words because they're offensive, when I'm a part of that community too, and I don't find it offensive. I feel like that was a whole ramble, and I hope my point came across, because I'm driving, so I realize my hands are off now, but I'm in park, so don't worry. I just think that in order to end the stigmatization around hearing loss, we can't be afraid to say hearing impaired. Words are very powerful, and I get that, in today's age, words have a lot of controversy around them, but there's that saying that, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. And I go back to the point I made where I said, how can I be offended by something that's true? I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'd really like to know why you call yourself, hard of hearing or hearing impaired or deaf. because I really do think that this is a huge part of ending and shifting the stigmatization around hearing loss. Yeah, let me know in the comments, and I look forward to hearing everyone's perspective on calling yourself hearing impaired. All right, bye.